Hi everyone. How are you guys doing? I know I haven't been around for a long time, but I can't wait to tell you what I've been doing. So, I've been busy, really busy, and right now I'm a little aggravated because my system decided just before I went on to screw up everything on me because they got nothing else to do apparently. So I hope you guys can come and hi everyone. Hey Barbara, how you girl? How are you? Um So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to try to show you some of the stuff that I did. This is going to take a minute because it's very detailed and it's going to be so much fun because a whole bunch of you people have told me how OSEP doesn't do anything and how nobody wants to step in and all of that stuff. Can you hear me, Barbara? Please tell me you can hear me so I can not try to strangle myself. Anyhow. So, I'm going to prove to you guys that with a whole lot of effort and a whole lot of trying. Okay, good. We got OSEP involved and it's really, really bad. So first I got to set the stage up. So, hey, Jen, I'm sorry. Hey, Jen. So back in, I can't remember the date, but a few months ago, I filed a complaint against the Westfield Public Schools. Okay. And the people in Massachusetts at the Department of Education are seriously cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. And I proved it. 100% I proved it. Because the feds came back after hearing my big mouth and after hearing from the parents and other people, not just me. They decided to step in and they told Massachusetts, hey, we're not feeling what you people are doing right now. Okay. So we got to straighten out a few things because you people are getting on our last nerves. Okay. And what they ended up doing is they literally sent the Department of Education what looks like, what do you call that? The local report letter that you usually get from the state when you file a complaint. And what a local report letter is, a letter telling the state, look at, this is what we were told. This is what you people did. And so we need all of these documents by such and such a date. Okay. That letter came to us in September, on September 29th. Okay. So let me just show you guys this letter because I'm telling you, it's a hoot. You guys are going to die when you see it. You're just going to die. And I'm going to say, told you so, because that's what I do. Okay. So what we're doing today is I'm starting from the bottom up. See, because see, it's September 29th. This is one of the letters. I didn't do it right on my Facebook page. Um, I was trying to load it up, all 3 pages. Hi, Wendy. I was trying to load up all 3 pages, but I couldn't do it. It was doing it 1 page at a time, and by the time I figured it out, it was too late. So I had to figure it out again. And if anybody wants this letter, just let me know. And I'm going to put it out there. I'm going to try to put it out there on my website, and I'm going to put it back out there again. I call you tomorrow because SSI is lying about Rachel's wages that I'm supposed to input. You know what? We'll respond to them in a complaint because I'm done. They're stupid. I can't stand stupid anymore, guys. I'm just up to here with the stupid. Okay. This is why I literally stopped advocating individually for parents and kids because it's way easier for me to do this, to just nail them and just file against an entire state. That's what I'm doing. Okay. So anyway, Adobe signed to, what is this? There, how's that? I hate stuff on my computer. Anyway, okay, so I think I'll do it. If I do it, I wait a minute, guys. My computer is doing some crazy, wild shit, and I'm trying to be good. It's really hard for me. Anyway, so let's look at this letter. All right. I'm going to see if I can do the whole letter instead of me in it anywhere. I don't understand. I want to make it bigger. Can you guys see that? Is that big for you? Okay. So let me explain a few things. You see at the top right here, it says United States Department of Education, Office of Special Education Program and Rehabilitative Services, Office of those Educational Programs. Okay. You see, one is OSERS and the other one is OSAP. Okay. So both are federal agencies. Just so you guys know, these are both federal agencies. Anytime you guys want to ask a question, please feel free, because this is going in deep. This is more than one show, because I have stuff that I'm going to show you guys. I'm going to show you the emails. I'm going to show you the documents. I'm going to show you guys everything, so you guys can do this yourself. And then I'm going to show you how to do it yourself. What you have to understand is what I did is, first I filed a complaint against the school district. The Wombats at the Department of Education decided that they weren't going to investigate all of my allegations. And they thought I was stupid and I wasn't going to read that crapola they sent over to me. So then, because Heather Montaldo was not wrapped too tight, apparently, she's at the Department of Education, which I actually put in writing and I sent to her, and I also sent it to OSAP. Because I can't believe she works for the Department of Education. She needs an education. That's all I'm saying. So I was madder than a pit bull when I got the results of the local findings, the letter of findings on my complaint that I filed against Westfield Public Schools. And I mean, it was, wait till I tell you about the stuff that Massachusetts is doing. And let me let you guys in a little secret. It ain't just Massachusetts. It's all of these states. They're all doing this. So you guys can literally take my crap and you can change the names and change some of the stuff. And then when you get a complaint back and it reads like poo-poo caca, you can file against the state using the same things I did. Now they have to investigate themselves. That's the other thing. Massachusetts got in so much trouble. You're going to see it. They had to hire 6 additional people at the Department of Education in the investigation department, in PRS, Problem Resolution Systems. They had to hire 6 new people. They had to hire 4 new investigators. They had to train everybody because that was part of my remedy. I wanted everybody trained. So they did. And I'm going to show you the proof. Okay. Barry Barnett. Thank you, Tammy. Barry Barnett is the director of Program Resolution Systems in the Department of Education in Massachusetts. He's the director of this department. He had to go to Russell Johnson. See his name? Wait, let me show this. All right, I'm going to share. I got to share. Okay. Now, it's going to look like I am. Let's just stop. Oh, I'm sorry. So, add. Okay. See Russell Johnson's name up there? It says Deputy Commissioner. I don't know who the commissioner is, because I don't even want to talk to this wombat. He doesn't do anything. In fact, I just sent an email over to OSAP, and I told him about what Russell's doing, and I told him it was an email about what they're not doing again. And I sent it, I put Laura Duos' name on it. This girl from OSAP comes back and she says, it's a good site, you can see everything. Okay, good. Thanks, Wendy. She comes back from OSAP and says, we usually direct you to go to, Russell. I said, been there, done that. He never responds to me. Or a whole bunch of other people in Massachusetts that send him emails. He doesn't respond. So I strongly suggest you guys get in touch with him, like you said in your email. If he doesn't respond to you, let us know and we'll have, I'm letting you know he's not gonna. He doesn't wanna. He literally doesn't want to talk to me. And if I was him, I wouldn't want to talk to me either. Because you know why? He's in double doodle, okay? Because in order for them to hire the 6 people, and in order for them to hire an assistant for Barry Barnett, there's 5 different people, 6 different people. In order for them to do that, Barry Barnett had to go to Russell guy over here, Russell, Deputy Commissioner, and get him to approve it. Because they're stupid. But before that happened, this letter happened. Okay, this was after my complaint, and this is after and during the state investigating themselves. Now, get this, guys, get this. Did your complaint also suggest oh, no, not yet, girl, not yet. That's a whole nother thing. They all use the same. Oh, all use the same playbook. Every last one, they're no good. But see, this is what I'm trying to tell you guys. If you do it the way I tell you to do it, you're going to make headway. Is it going to take a long time? Probably. Is it going to cause some problems? Most definitely. Because what you're doing is you're putting the pressure on the state to put the pressure on the school district. Okay? So the school district screws up. The state comes back and says, it's okay. I said, good. Now I file against them for violating their regulations, which I'm going to go into. I'm going to show you how you have to do it. See, you don't file the same complaint that you filed against the district. So you file a complaint against the district, right? Okay, I got to do it like this. I got to see you. It's too bad. Okay. What you do is, I just froze up. I hope I didn't freeze. I hate myself. This computer is driving me completely bonkers. Okay, so this is what happens. Let me see if I can do it again. You file a complaint against the district for denial of FAPE, for not having personnel qualifications, for not doing things in a timely manner, for not allowing paraprofessionals to come to team meetings, all of that stuff, right? That's against the school district. So when the state comes back and they do their investigation and these wombats say, oh, that's okay. It's okay that they did that. Yes, okay. And I reviewed this and I reviewed that. And then just to make sure that the school district gets away with stuff, some of the allegations, they don't even bother to investigate. Really? Okay. So that means if they don't investigate all of your allegations, which the federal law says they have to do when you file a complaint, that means the state is in violation. Understand? Means the state's in violation. So you filed against the state because they violated all of this stuff. And then the state takes your complaint and they read it and go, we're not going to do that. We're not going to investigate that one. We're not going to investigate this one. Because if we do that, then that's going to look real bad on the school district. Bite me. Okay. School district didn't do their job. They got money. They got millions and millions of dollars to educate our children as well as those typical kids. You see, the typical kids, they just get on a bus and go to school. Our kids got to go through all kind of drama. Okay, we as parents got to go through all kind of drama. How about using my disability for my son's busing? I don't understand what that means. Tell me what that means. If you can't bring your kid because you have a disability, then they have to provide transportation. Okay? If a kid has a disability, they have to provide transportation. Transportation, guys, is just like getting OT and PT in speech and language. It's a related service under IDEA. 34 CFR 300.34. Okay? That's what I'm going to tell you on that. So anyway, when the state doesn't do their job, it's a double whammy. Okay? Because now you didn't get nothing from the school district. And now the states, so one's lying and the other one is swearing to it, is what it amounts to. And it's cool with the state until September 29th. And here it comes. Okay. So what the feds are saying right here is that over the last several months, which is since I filed my complaint on Westfield Public Schools. Yeah. OSEP received a number of concerns from stakeholders, including advocacy groups, local education agencies, personnel, local special education, parent advisory councils, and individual parents of children with disabilities in Massachusetts. Okay? As we have discussed during our monthly meetings. Now get this, Massachusetts is on a monthly supervise with OSEP. You know, every state doesn't get that. You only get that when you're in trouble. Okay? It's an enforcement it's enforcement action. So it goes in a tier. I'll show you that some other time. Okay. But there's a tier. So they're on a monthly monitor with OSEP. So while they're on a monthly monitor with OSEP, these wombats are doing this crap to me. Like, I'm not going to rat them out. Crazy. So they say in here, Massachusetts Department of Elementary and Secondary has a system reasonably designed to monitor its LEA school districts to ensure compliance of Part B of the IDEA as required under 300.600. Remember these regs, okay? 300.600, 300.149, 151, and 152. Those are the regulations for the state, okay? The state has to implement those regulations regarding the school districts, okay? So the school districts have to implement your kid's IEP, but the state has to make sure that the school district's doing their job. And that's what these regulations are all about that I just cited, okay? So then it talks about 129, 146, 147, 300 point, okay? All of these regulations in this first paragraph is what the State Department of Education is supposed to be doing to make sure that the school districts are doing their job with your kid, okay? So that's why when you write the complaint, you write one complaint against the school district. Cite your regulations. Cite. The first one you cite is denial of faith. I don't care what you want to put in there. The first thing you say is the school district denied FAPE when they did not provide my child with yada, 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 or they did not implement the IEP, or they did not provide my child with credentialed people pursuant to the IDEA requirements. And I just found out something else, Meg. Just found out something else, girl. You're going to love it. I'll tell you tomorrow. You're going to love it. It's all about, just remind me of this. It's about what I just said. The personnel requirements, if a paraprofessional is in your kid's IEP, says paraprofessional, that's a related service. That means that they have to implement that part of it. And if they have to implement it, like they can't say this person from this school over here is going to implement that part of your IEP if that person is not a part of the school district and they don't have a contract with them. You can't just have Joe Schmo down the street and then the school district says, well, yeah, but, Mr. Hoo-Ha over here, he was implementing, providing transitional services. Absolutely not. That's not how none of this works. And that's another thing I got to show you, a summary judgment that went against Catherine Putney Yanchin at the Bureau of Special Education Appeals. It's a hoot too. Oh my God. She got all of that stuff remanded back to her to do her job because she screwed up the parent's case. Oh yeah. There's a whole lot. That was a federal court judge. There's a whole lot of stuff going on in Massachusetts. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So now you go down here and it says constituents, both parents and the LEA representative both the LEAs and the parents raised concerns about the scope of allowable state complaints in Massachusetts. Ain't that a wonderful thing? Yeah. Stakeholders allege that DESE only issues decisions. Think I'm crazy? All of this stuff I said. Okay. Cushing School still hires people who have no license. Yeah, I know. So listen. So this says that DESE only issues decisions on procedural violations and dismisses more substantive allegations, raising a denial of FAPE. That's what I just said. Stella. Right. Okay. So you can't do that. You see, when a parent files a state complaint against a school district, the state has to investigate every single allegation. They don't get to omit it, skip it, pretend it's not on the paper. They don't get to do none of that. Okay. And if you know what they're supposed to do, then when you get your decision, you go, where's the allegation I made? Yeah, that every time you get your letter of findings from the state that says whether or not the school district was found to be in non-compliance, regarding your complaint, all of those allegations you made, if all of them aren't in there, the state's in trouble. They cannot unilaterally omit anything. They don't get to do that. And I'm telling you, I got documentation that will show you that Barry Barnett, director of PRS in Massachusetts, admitted in writing they were doing it. We'll just pretend it's not there. And you know why? Let me tell you why, guys. Let me tell you why they do this. They do that because the more they find that school districts are in non-compliance, the worse the state looks. Because you know what that means? You know what that means, guys? It means the state's not doing their damn job either. Okay? The state is supposed to be monitoring these wombats to make sure they're implementing IDEA 100% of the time in any and all aspects of IDEA. Not sometimey, not omitting, not maybe if. No, none of that. None of that. None of that shenanigans, okay? This is why I get mad, okay? This is why I'm always angry. Because parents don't know this stuff. And the only way you could know this stuff, I don't know too many advocates that know what I'm talking about, like how to look at this crap. Because it's a pain in the neck, okay? It's a pain. I had a friend of mine tell me, you're the only person that took it this far. You're the only one. I know I'm the only one because I don't like people. And what I really don't like, you know what I really don't like? I really don't like people thinking I'm stupid. I take offense to that, okay? I take offense to you thinking that I'm a dumb as a nail, okay? You're dumb as a nail. That's the way I look at it. Well, because this is going to get real good because some of the stuff that we got was from an attorney, the Deputy General Counsel for the Department of Education. You will not believe what I told her in an email that I sent to Osa because I don't like her. And I don't care if anybody says it's not politically correct. You know what's not politically correct? That a state would take all of that money, keep it for themselves, do whatever they want with it because they're not giving our kids an education. The only reason why they're getting that much money is because of the number of kids in that state with IEPs. So I don't want to hear I'm not politically correct. I just don't want to hear it. Because you know what, guys? It's all relative. It is. It's all relative. And I don't care. So anyway. So here we go. So it says here, let me go back. Okay. Finally, stakeholders have raised questions about the tracking of state complaints. You see, not only was Massachusetts just not doing their job in the letter of findings, just omitting all kinds of stuff. Sometimes they weren't even investigating because it was too much. Whether the parent retains the right to file a due process complaint after a state complaint investigation is completed. Okay. State complaint decisions are implemented, and whether the parent retains the right and whether the parent to file a state complaint is completed. Parents and advocates have cited delays in the issuance of written decisions and have expressed concern about their ability to enforce the required actions in the state complaint decisions. That'd be me. Yeah. You see, they issue corrective action orders that don't make no damn sense. One of the corrective action orders I'm going to show you guys, the wombat, the lawyer for the state, her name is Kristen Valcourt. This crazy doodoo head. She issued a corrective action order that gave the state additional time to give her the documentation that she needed, apparently to find in the state's favor. So I lit up like a Christmas tree and I sent her an email and I told her, I know what you're doing. And I let her have it. And I told her, I don't know what law school you went to. Because this doesn't make it. You think this is corrective action? You just gave the state more time to manufacture the evidence that you need. I said, hello. I said in an email, if you don't have the evidence, guess what? It doesn't exist. That means I'm right. You just proved my case and they're wrong. What part of this don't you understand? I told her. You're a lawyer, So facts, law, and evidence don't mean anything to you. And that's when I asked her, what law school did you go to? Yeah, I asked her that. Because she's stupid. I have no respect for her. She has no respect for her profession to write that crap down and call it a corrective action order. I said, how is this corrective action? You're giving your own people an extension of time, which, by the way, is a violation because it has to be extraordinary circumstances. So I told her, that's what I told her. They said, so what you're trying to do is do a workaround the extenuating circumstances regulation by calling this a corrective action order, when in fact, it's actually you attempting to get an extension to get the answer you need. That's what you did, I told her. I know, I'm excited and I'm mad. Every time I think about this case, I get mad because it just never ends. So it says, so what the state, what the OSEP, this is the letter from OSEP, guys. This is the letter from OSEP to the State Department of Education in Massachusetts. And it's telling them, up here it says under 34 CFR 300.152. And then it breaks down the law. And it says, this is what you guys are supposed to do. Okay? So, and then they cite question and answers on idea, dispute resolution procedures. They're telling them this is what you guys can use. Okay? Once a written decision on the state complaint is issued, the SEA, State Educational Agency, must ensure that the public agency involved in the complaint implements the written decision in a timely manner. The SEA's state complaint procedures must include procedures for effective implementation of the SEA's final decision, because in Massachusetts, when you get this Massachusetts has a law that says these wombats, their crap is final. Like, you can't go to due process. You have to go to a court. You have to go to federal court against them. Okay? And they know parents aren't going to do that. But I'm going to show you guys how to just attempt it. Because here's the thing, you guys. If you're poor, and the best way to figure out if you're poor is like this. If your kid gets free or reduced lunch, you're low income. So guess what? You can file for an appeal for free. Okay? All you have to do is fill out the indigency paperwork and you're good. You just fill it out. And all it is a review of the record. So I'm going to show you, because what the feds asked them for is monumental. This is a monumental thing that happened. I know how important it is. They don't want me to know this, but I do. And I've been sticking their face in it every chance I get. So anyway, so they're telling them this is what you're supposed to do. And I'm telling them in all of my emails and in all of my complaints, they didn't do any of this. That's why it's in there. And when the parents, I have 2 clients, and both of them are in here. When they read it, they said, Tammy, that's me. I said, I know. I know it's you. I didn't know if you would notice it. Oh, yeah. Both of them said it. Okay. So based on the concerns, and here's what OSEP said. Based on the concerns from stakeholders and OSEP's review of state-submitted dispute resolution data, publicly available state policies, and examples of state complaint decision, wait for it, OSEP is concerned about the decrease in the number of timely state complaint decisions and the increase in the number of pending state complaints. They're not doing their job. That's why the numbers ain't, the math ain't mathing, people. It's not mathing. That's what OSEP's saying. The math's not mathing. That's what they're concerned about. In addition, given the significant decrease in the number of state complaint decisions with findings, and based on a review of state complaint decision with child-specific allegations, denial of faith, OSEP believes additional information is needed to review how child-specific allegations are investigated beyond an LEA report and how child-specific remedies are determined and implemented. That's when you tell them they're not implementing the IEP, your kid didn't get any services. I got a kid right now that the state determined. This is one of the clients. The state determined that out of 315 hours of compensatory services for academic support, they were only going to give him 54 hours. They owed him 18 weeks. In 18 weeks, times the number of hours the kid was supposed to get the academic support from the teacher, it added up to 315 hours of compensatory services. And that didn't include OT, PT, or speech and language. Yeah. And the funny thing is, in that particular case, do you know they knew how to do the math for the OT, the PT, and the speech and language? But they didn't know that same concept, that same mathematical procedure that they used for OT, PT, and speech and language escaped them when they had to do the academic support. 18 weeks they owed my kid. 18 weeks. This is the shenanigans that's going on in Massachusetts, and some wombat at the department who they still can't tell me how they came up with 54 hours. And apparently the only way I can find out is to go file in federal court to get that wench who made that up, make her do the math, because her math wasn't mathing either. Right. That's what they do. I got you. Got you guys. Okay. So, here's what OSEP is requesting. OSEP believes that therefore OSEP is requesting that DESE, Department of Education and Elementary and yada, 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 submit the following information within 60 days of the date of this letter. Guess what, guys? That's pretty much what they say about a state complaint. They got 60 days. So OSEP asked them for policies and procedures. I need you guys to remember this. Policies and procedures addressing the investigation of state complaints. Any protocols or trainings provided to state investigators regarding the investigation of state complaints. I'm going to show you how this matches what I just got in November from the state on my complaint I filed against the Department of Education. You're not going to, this is where the 6 people come in. This right here. And the training, this is where it comes in. Current tracking logs for state complaints. Random sample of 20 dismissed or withdrawn state complaints from the last 3 years. 3 years. I sent them mine. After this came out, I sent them mine again. Here, just in case they forget these 2 cases, here you go. Policies and procedures related to the resolution of state complaints and evidence of completion. Tracking logs of corrective actions required by written decisions on state complaints. You know, they didn't have none of that. Zippo. They had none. This is what OSEP told Massachusetts. We want this, and you better give it to us, and you got 60 days. 60 days. We're not done. We're not done. Then it goes into, okay, what is it? Child fine. Here it is. Child fine. So now it says there's a bunch of sections in here. So for the first one, it has to do with, what is the first one? It's talking about, it's literally talking about the investigative procedures, how they're tracking it and everything. Okay, so that's the first one. The second one's child fine. Okay, because I listed child fine in one of my complaints. It says they have collected and reviewed an extensive number of LEA policies and procedures and question whether these procedures are consistent with the idea. Yeah. So the state, when people like us sent this information over and they read the decisions that they actually got, they found that child fine procedures were not being implemented properly in the investigation process. So specifically, stakeholders report long delays in obtaining eligibility for students under IDEA. So these are this is in a state complaint procedure. The only way they got this information is that some parent filed a complaint and said, this is how long it took. And it was all over the place. Random people in Massachusetts. Okay. Specifically, have long delays, IDEA, including for students under IDEA, including students with specific learning disabilities. Yeah, they don't like them. Okay. They have specific learning disability. So they need academic support. And what they usually want to do is throw them in a resource room and say that's academic support. Or my favorite thing they like to do is put these kids on RTI or an RTI comparable thing. Okay. RTI lookalike. Okay. What's it called? TSS, something stupid. Okay. There it is right there. They also report the delay in completing evaluations. Wait a minute, people. I just said that. Okay. And I forgot this was in the letter. They also report the delay in completing evaluations due to the implementation of RTR activities. Once your kid goes on RTR, it takes a year for level 1, tier 1. Okay? It takes a year. So that's a whole year your kid's not getting any kind of evaluation done, because once the school puts your kid on any kind of RTI program, that means the school district suspects your child has a learning disability. Do you know what the law says? If you suspect that, then you have to evaluate the kid to find out for real if the kid has it. You know what the states do? They don't do that. There's a whole memo on that. Okay. Whole memo on that. So then it says, we acknowledge that DESE recently revised the assurances it requires LEAs to submit annually to receive an IDEA Part B subgrant titled Conditions for Funding, Part B certification. Guess who's asking for that? I'm going to ask for that. I didn't even see that. Okay. All the LEAs have to do it. So I'm going to go after the 2 schools I have. Westfield, here I come. Because you're dumb. Okay, while these assurances include child find requirements and evaluation requirements, here we go. It is unclear how DESE monitors LEAs on the implementations of these requirements. Just like it's unclear as to that stupid email doofus from the department sent me, Barry Barnett. He says all of this stuff about the personnel qualifications for paraprofessionals. I'm going to cite this. I'm going to say, that's funny. That's the same. I'm not crazy. That's the same thing OSEP said. You guys are so ambiguous. And you know why? Because you're greedy and you want the money for yourself. Okay? Just walk on the backs of our kids with disabilities. Why don't you just keep doing that? You're disgusting pieces of doo-doo. Okay? I can't even stand you. Yeah, I'm on a warpath. Yeah, I am. Okay. DESE monitors LEAs on the implementation of these requirements, in particular policies, procedures, and practices regarding LEAs referrals, as well as LEAs use of RTR. While these assurances are, it is unclear how DESE does all of that. I'm going to cut and paste that, and I'm sending it, Meg. I'm sending it to him. I'm going to say, that's the same thing they said. I should have just read this and gave it to you. And highlighted it, you doofus. I can't stand that, man. To effectively monitor the implementation of Part B IDEA, the state must have policies and procedures that are reasonably designed to ensure that the state can meet its general supervisory responsibilities. And that's what we also got, guys. The general supervisory, here it is. This came out in July, guys. This is one. There's a whole lot of stuff. Okay. It's called the general supervisory responsibilities. Where is that? I just lost that. General supervisory responsibilities as required in 34 CFR 300.149 and its monitoring responsibilities in 300.600 and through 300.602. You see, that's what I cited in my complaint. And my complaint against the school district, that's what I cited. And I was right on point. And guess who didn't investigate that? And they still haven't. So now I'm going to refile it, Meg. I'm going to refile it again. Everyone in Westfield gets free lunch. Or everybody in Westfield, then guess what? They also get something else, don't they? Good. So you can file. Go ahead. So the state's monitoring activities, here it goes, must primarily focus on improving educational results and functional outcomes for all children with disabilities and ensure that public agencies meet the program requirements under Part B of the idea with a particular emphasis on those requirements that are most closely related to improving educational results for children with disabilities. I hate people. I just read a summary judgment against Catherine Putney Yanchin on that issue right there. She actually said that the reason why the school district won, and she said the reason why the school district won was because she limited the scope of the evidence that they were able to put in, and that was one of the reasons. That was an error. She erred. And so the judge, a federal court judge, sent it back to her, remanded almost this entire case back to Catherine Putney Yanchin, almost the entire case, because of her actions. It changed the outcome of the decision. The parent could have won. So the parents wanted their kid in a residential. This chick is saying, "Oh no, he's getting FAPE, he's getting this, but she's taken out all the evidence. She's taken away the weight of one of the parents' witnesses, and so we're left with just the school district saying so. And so Catherine Putney Yanchin got her case remanded back to her to go fix it. Yes. And I'm getting a copy of it. As soon as I get a copy, posting it. And the reason why I'm mad is because I got her as a hearing officer right now. Yeah, she's gonna have a problem with me. Okay. So anyway, here's another one. So here's the second one. So after all of that, I read you. So here it is right here. Whoop. Okay. So here it is again, right here. So read that. So it says, based on the concerns from stakeholders and OSEP's review of publicly available information regarding implementation of child fine requirements in the state, including applicable guidance and information on the state's tiered focus monitoring system. You know what this is saying, guys? That the crap that they got out there for us to see on their website does not meet IDEA requirements. That's what that means. Publicly available information. That's what that means. You guys got to start looking at all, and it's not just Massachusetts, guys. This is going on all over the United States. Every single public school and every single state Department of Education is doing what Massachusetts is doing. And nobody reports them. That's why they get away with all of this stuff, because you guys don't know how to question them. This document right here shows you all of the regulations. You get a complaint and the decision isn't right. This is what you can look at right here. You pull out all of these laws, you copy and paste that, and you assert in your complaint against the state that that's what they did. That right there, that right there, in blue. Okay. So now, OSEP did it again. OSEP is requesting that DESE submit the following information within 60 days of the date of this letter. Now, this letter was dated September 29th. So September, October, November, December. I'm going to contact the state under the public records request, and I'm going to go get all of this shit. Because when the state sent it, it's a public record. So they have to put it out there for me to get. And I'm going to go get it. So anyway, it says that they're requesting the state's policies and procedures for conducting child fine, including referrals for evaluations. You know who never does that, right? Other than a reevaluation, when have you guys ever seen? And I mean, I could say, yeah, sometimes. But I mean, it has to be severe. It has to be for a kid who's a danger to himself and others. And even then, what a lot of schools like to do is just say, we're going to get him out of here. We're not going to evaluate him. We're eyeballing the situation. We just want him to go to another private school. Bite me. You can't do that. Because we don't know what he's going to get for services. The goals and objectives are based on the evaluations and the results of those testing instruments. So if you don't do it and you just place them, what makes you think anything's going to change? I don't understand how these people are in the public school system. I don't understand. If you don't want to do your job, get the hell out. Just get out. Go get another job. Almost everybody that works for the Department of Education has a degree in something, at least a bachelor's degree. They can go work anywhere. Anywhere. They have to provide the OSEP with policies and procedures to ensure each public agency conducts a full and individual initial evaluation in a timely manner. They're talking about, remember, this whole section was about RTR. Okay. When they suspect a child has a learning disability, putting a kid on RTR is like giving a kid coloring books in when they're doing math. Just give them a coloring book. Call it a day. They want the state to provide policies, procedures, and practices regarding the use of RTR or other multi-tiered systems of support. That's the other one. It's called MTSS, or other multi-tiered system of supports. These people, I hate them so much. What these people do is they change the name RTI to something else like MTSS. I actually had a fight with Arizona. The Wombats in Arizona told me that they don't have the kid on RTI. They have the kid on MTSS. I said, do you know what the T stands for in MTSS? I literally put this in an email. Tiered system. That's RTI, doofus. Yeah. They still denied it. Okay. States criteria for determining whether a child has a specific learning disability. They don't do none of that. They put them on. They determine it by putting them on RTI. States monitoring protocols addressing child find, because you put a kid on RTI for tier 1 for longer than 3 months. For tier 1, I believe because what they do is they put them on tier 1, then they bump them up to tier 2, because you know what? Kid regressed even further, because you know what? They didn't put him on an IEP. They didn't evaluate the kid in the previous year. And then the third year, the kid's on tier 3. So this went on 3 years. For 3 years, tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3. Without this kid being evaluated. So you know what, guys? Here's what I'm going to tell you. Unless you have a problem with your kid being on an IEP, go get your kid tested. You want your kid tested in all areas of suspected disability. That's academics. That's social. A lot of times these kids have behavior issues. You know why? You know why they have behavior issues? Because they're sitting in a classroom because, they don't know what the hell's going on. So rather than be embarrassed with the other kids, they just act out, and then the teacher throws them out of the classroom. Now there's a kid with a behavior problem. So the failure of the school district to give the kids the necessary academic support segues right into disciplinary issues. And they're okay with this. Okay. So you start seeing stuff from the school talking about your kid's behavior. He doesn't pay attention. He's very distracted. He talks out loud. He blurts things out. He's a disruption in the classroom. Those words right there, guess what that means? You put it in writing. I want my child evaluated in all areas of suspected disability pursuant to IDEA. That's called child find, people. Now, what they have to do is put it in writing. It's called prior written notice. Evaluation is under prior written notice. You understand? If the school district sends you an email and says, well, we feel, nobody gives a shit about their feelings. Nobody. Okay? Feelings are not a part of IDEA. If you look in the regulations, there's not one word about the school district's damn feelings. Okay? Congress did not write up these federal regulations and include the school district's damn feelings. Okay? They can put their feelings where the sun don't shine, because don't nobody care. Okay? They're basing their feelings on their budget. Okay? Has nothing to do with your kid. Okay, their feelings is, how do I keep this kid off an IEP so that I don't have to go and tell the school committee about the budget being so high? You see, that's their feelings talking. Okay? And as soon as they put something in writing about their feelings and your kid's education, that's a violation. Okay? Immediately. And it's 2 violations. One, they can't deny, they have to put it in writing. Okay. There's the whole prior written notice. Everything is in there. It tells you exactly what to do. Their idea is step-by-step damn instructions for the school and the state. This is not rocket science, people. Not for them. Okay. So then they have to send the criteria for determining a learning disability, a specific learning disability. They have to send the state's monitoring protocols addressing child fine, including the use of RTI. That's going to be fun to look at. It's going to be real fun. A referral for evaluations. They have to send them evaluation procedures and eligibility determinations and examples of monitoring reports. So these are things the state is supposed to already have in place. I know for a fact Massachusetts does it. And what they're doing is they're manufacturing it. And let me tell you something. OSEPs, a lot of things, they're not stupid people. They're not stupid people. They're not. They know about this. Laura Duos knows about this. Okay? Anybody under her knows about this. Now, there are lazy people in all areas of any kind of discipline or any kind of job function. Okay? So I'm not going to vouch for everybody at OSEP because I've had my run-ins and I've chewed a few of them out at length. One of them actually came from Massachusetts and she worked at the Department of Education, which I then told her, now you make sense to me. Now I know why you like to fight with me, because you don't want to get them wombats in trouble, because those are your buddies. So they got a lot to do. Okay, this was September 29th. So October 29th, November 29th, December 29th, they just had to put in all of this stuff. Okay. So it's going to be pulled. So now it says, what is this one? This is why I said this is going to be a long time, guys. And I wanted you to see this one first. So I'm starting at the bottom up and I'm going up. Okay. So this is the first. We got this while I was filing my complaints. This was because of the complaints and getting everybody on board and people filing all of this stuff over and over and over. Actually, what we were was a haunt. What you guys have to understand something though, okay? What I got to tell you is this. OSEP can't do an investigation on your complaint. That's not their job, okay? OSEP's job is to make sure the state's doing their job. And the only way you guys can get them to do it is you have to take this letter and you have to look at these regulations that OSEP used against the state. Then in your emails to them, when you're telling OSEP about the shenanigans going on, you cite these regulations. As a matter of fact, what I would do is just drop this right into your email and say, this is the exact same thing that's going on in my state. Easy peasy. Now they might come back and say, which one? And all of these regulations are easy to find. I mean, blink your eye, you can find it. Okay. So they want them to provide that. So they have state-approved special education schools. You know what that one was about, Barbara? You know what that one was about? Yeah. I believe this came after that 42-page scathing report the Boston Globe did on the private residential approved schools and special education schools in Massachusetts. 42 pages. I mean, it was bad. In fact, I was just told that the CEO or the CFO of Evergreen School, Gown, retired. You know why? Because in that report, it included all of the money those ding-dongs were making. I mean, one of them was making $800,000 a year. The school is this big. They have maybe 100 students, maybe, on the residential. And every single one of the administrators in that program, they were all BCBAs. All of them. Yeah. Ding-dongs. They're no good. Which proves my point. And I actually talked to a guy from NPR. And he was like, Tammy, he said, I don't understand. How come nobody stops this? I said, the only way we can stop it is to report it to the feds. When the feds get it, it takes them a minute because it's government. And that's the other thing you guys have to understand. This is government. And here's what we did. You see, this didn't take even half as much time as it would if we sued these ding-dongs and took them to federal court, which is what the PRS wants us to do. See, that's why Massachusetts has that rinky-dinky little law that says all of PRS's decisions are final, and the only way you can go after them is to appeal that decision in federal court or district court, whatever. Always go to federal court. These are all federal regulations that we talk about. So don't do district or superior, stupid. Go straight to federal. Okay? That's what you do. So yeah. So they're asking questions about 766 schools. They talk about all of the things in here. Based on OSEP's review of these standards, most criteria appear to address the certification of the school, health and safety standards, rather than the implementation of the IDEA requirements. Because Nina Marchese, for years and years, told us that the private school is not responsible for the implementation of the IEP. They're responsible, the school district is. So when you try to go after the private school in a state complaint, they would kick it out. If you, one time, just happened recently. So I filed against, in the last 2 years, last year, I filed against one of the private schools, and Reese Ehrlichman added the school district to my due process hearing. So what I did is I told her what she did. I said, knock it off. She said she's not going to take it off. She said, for me to file a motion to dismiss. I said, I'm not filing no motion. This is your fault. You put their name on it on purpose because you don't want to have a private school go into hearing. Is that why you did that? So Rosa Figueroa, the hearing officer of the BSEA, she was my hearing officer, and she writes this thing talking about, Tammy, all you had to do was tell me, and I would have corrected it. This was an administrative error. The administrator was your boss. Hello? Yeah. They think I'm not paying attention, but I am. They don't know what's about to happen because I'm just going to stop. If I stop doing this one kid at a time, I used to think one kid at a time was going to help, but it doesn't. You know what's going to help? Me doing this. Right there. This right here. This is what's going to help. See, that will stop a whole bunch of stuff. People will get fired. People lose their job. People going to get trained. It's just going to be all bad. So here's all the regulations. They have to have, under 129, the state must have in effect policies and procedures that ensure LEAs, and if applicable, the SEA meet the private school requirements, 34 CFR 300-130 through 148. See, this is what I'm talking about. Hey, girlfriend. Hey, girl. Simply. Hey, girl. So, yeah. So, like I said, there's a little bit of everything in this one letter. Okay. So if your kid's in a private school, these are the regulations you cite the state on. You say, and you don't need to file a complaint first against the school district. If your kid's in a private school and the private school is the state's coming back talking about the private school's not in on this, file the complaint against the private school. Make them investigate and cite these regs. And then when you get the answer, that's going to be bullcrap. Now you take it and you file against the Department of Ed. That's how you get them. Okay, there are steps. And this takes 60 days. They can only take 60 days. It's still better than going to court. Okay? If you use this process, it's better than going to court. You get an answer sooner. To you, it doesn't, it's still long. To you, it's long. And it is. You've been fighting for your kid for a long time. And a lot of you guys are like, I'm Tammy, I'm done. You're not, honey. I know. Because if you're done, your kid's done. Stick a fork in him. Kid's done. You don't have a snowball's chance in hell. You might as well stay home with your kid and teach your kid at home. Go get the school district to approve for your kid to be homeschooled with the general education. And then what you can do is you tell the school district you want them to provide the IEP services at home with your kid. That's what you do. And I don't want to hear, I'm sorry. Well, my kid wants to go to school, my kid this, my kid that, because, they have to be interacting with other kids. Number one, I'm telling you from the bottom of my heart, if I had a child that was attending public school, my kid would be in the other room doing his homework right now. My kid would not go to any public school. I'm sorry. There's too many things going on. The things that these kids are learning and not learning is mind-boggling. Teaching a kid how to drop and roll and hide to get away from a shooter in the school, that's too much for me to handle. I am not sending my kid to school thinking, oh, it could never happen here. Bullshit. It can. It can. And those wombats, they don't care nothing about it. In Norton Public Schools, one year, there was a big, there was a shooting somewhere. And I got one of my kids over there, two little ones. And they were like 4 and 5 or something like that. And there was a big to-do about some kind of shooting. And so there was this thing that was going around that the department said everything had to be locked down, blah, 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 blah. The front of this school was all glass. Even in the wintertime, if the sun was out, it was like an oven right there. Some idiot leaves the door open every day. So anybody off the street can walk into the building. Anybody. The office is on the other side, and there's doors and there's walls. So they don't even see people coming in. I chewed them out for that. You know why? Because their kids aren't in that school. Okay? That's what I got mad about. I told them, you got one more time, because the next time I'm just going to go. And this was a few years ago. So they didn't have like YouTube and cell phones doing what they're doing now. I didn't even think about it, but I should have we did take pictures. We took pictures. But had I thought about it, we would have taken videos and I would put it on YouTube because they're stupid. Okay. It's the other thing I got to tell you guys real quick. The one thing that I learned, I said this on TikTok, which by the way, I have a TikTok channel. But anyway, the one thing that I learned in 2023, the biggest, loudest voice gets the attention. You know that squeaky wheel thing? It's true. I proved it. Be a haunt. Put everything in writing. Okay? Put everything in writing. These people are no good. You need to teach them a lesson. Okay? You need to make yourself known. Don't be afraid if they don't like you. Nobody cares. If you have a problem with these ding-dongs liking you, because in your mind, you think that somehow this is going to impact anything with your kid, you're cray-cray. Just saying. Because if your kid's being tormented at school because of what you're doing, there's going to be telltale signs. You don't have to wait until your kid is, having a really bad problem. You will know. You will get messages from the school. You got to go pick up your kid because they don't know how to handle the behaviors. A whole lot of things. You'll get notes in the thing, in your book every day. Okay, your kid will come home. And when your kid comes home and your kid has a scratch or your kid is crying or your kid is upset, put that in writing and send it to the wombats. Okay? The paper trail is your best damn friend. This is how I beat them. You understand? I created that paper trail out of thin air. I created it myself. I took all of the documents that I got from the parents and I created a mess for them. And they were all, the mother kept telling me, Timmy, what's going to happen? Nothing's going to happen. Did something happen? Yes, something happened. That's because of us. I couldn't have done it without the parent. The parent couldn't have done it without me. And one of us has to be vicious. Can I be that person? I like who I am. I am not afraid to choose somebody out. I don't care nothing about these people. I don't like them. Just saying. I don't like them. There's very few people that work in education that I like. Very few. And I should limit that to special ed. Okay? I should limit it to special ed. Because I don't know all of the regular ed teachers. But I did have a meeting with a regular ed teacher. And my client was sitting in her class. And she's all proud at the team meeting. And I said, my client's in your classroom? She says, yes, 178 minutes a week. Oh, really? Yeah. Okay. Do the kids in your class, do they know their 1, 2, 3s and ABCs? Yeah. Can they add and subtract? Yes. Double digit numbers? Yes. Do they know the letters of the sound of the alphabet? So they can read. Can they spell? Yes. I looked at her and I said, you know what my client can't do? None of that. So what is she doing in your classroom when everybody else is doing their work? Hello? What exactly? This is what OSEP wants to know. This is what I told them is going on. Nobody wants to tell them. If you're afraid of getting people mad, don't say nothing. Just accept it and keep it moving. Okay? Just accept it. You can't be afraid of pissing people off. But when you piss people off, cross your T's, dot your I's. Do your due diligence. Do your due diligence. Don't make allegations you can't back up. There's nothing here I can't back that I've said tonight that I can't back up with a piece of paper. Because I got it like that. Because I'm smart and real. Real smart. Okay? And you don't need a degree to do this either. No. And I know. Nobody wants to do this. Okay? Nobody wants to do this. But even if you hire somebody to do this for you, you got to make sure they know what they're doing too. There's a lot of people out there saying they're advocates and they really shouldn't be one. Just saying. There's a lot of good ones, but there's a lot of bad ones because it's real easy for you guys. I mean, I've had numerous clients. You guys all know who you are, that have come to me. And after coming to me, they're like, how come my other advocates didn't do this? They're stupid. They didn't know this can be done because they're not interested in figuring out the problem and rectifying the whole thing. You came to them with this much. When I get the case, I want to fix the whole thing. Okay. That's the way a person who cares about what they're doing and who they're doing it for. That's the difference. If you find an advocate like that, stick with that chick or that man. What you need to do, though, is you also need to know whether these people have the credentials. And credentials to be an advocate, you don't have to have a degree. But what you have to know is the law. Okay. You have to know where they live. That would be nice. Because just going to team meetings isn't doing jack doodly squat. If you don't know the regulations, what they violated, and how they're denying FAPE to your kid, and you don't know, if you don't know the disability, if the advocate doesn't know how the disability impacts the kid, then there's nothing they could do. They can't even ask for certain assessments to be done. For a particular disability, there may be a particular testing instrument. So you guys have to make sure you know the right questions to ask the advocate you're going to hire, or even a lawyer. Lawyers come into the play, and the lawyers want to do it their way because they're just looking for a quick fix with a lot of money. Because if you got the money, they're going to do it, and they're going to do it their way. Okay? And they're not going to address all of this. And I actually had an attorney in Massachusetts tell me the reason why he's not going to do it and look at all of this stuff is because he has to go up to the VSCA with other kids. I said, what the hell does that have to do with the price of tea in China? We're talking about this kid, dude. I told the mother to get up. Let's go. I'm done. This is stupid. And I mean, I thought he was a good attorney, but when he said that, I was done. So more people in Israel lying all the time, especially federal and state agencies. You have to put 2 and 2 together, though. See, that's the problem. And a lot of people don't do that. You have to think. You have to have critical thinking skills, people. And my generation, we got that in school. I even got it in college. I mean, that was one of the things they taught us. I couldn't believe they had a course in critical thinking. I'm like, why? I told my professor, why? She said, Tammy, you have no idea how many people don't have these skills that were never taught. So what? Who does that? Anyway, so get back to this. So that's why this letter is so important. Everything that I just said, that's why this is so important, because this stuck a pin in that big, useless balloon. The state has been giving us all of this information and let all of the air out of their balloon. Let it all out. That's what it did. Just saying. Okay. So here it is again. The SEA also must ensure that these children are provided an education that meets the standards that apply to education provided by the SEA and LEAs, including the requirements of Part B, except for 34 CFR 300.156. Guess what that is? Personnel qualifications. And have all of the rights of a child with a disability who is served by a public agency. Implementing 34 CFR 300.156, the SEA must monitor compliance procedures such as written reports, on-site visits, and parent questionnaires. They do that like every 3 years, and it's horse manure. It really is. Disseminate copies of the applicable standards to each private. This is all about the private school. Okay. There was nothing in this section that said the private schools are not obligated to implement IDEA. And if they don't implement IDEA, then it's the school district's fault. That's not what it says there. Disseminate copies of applicable standards to each private school and facility to which a public agency has referred or placed the child. There's a reason for that, because they're telling them, when they give them that question, those applicable standards, they're telling the private school, hey, you have to do this, or you're in violation. And this is the reason why the private school has to do it. In order for the private school to be funded for the kid, the tuition money is IDEA funds. They're accepting federal funds from a school district to educate a child. Okay. Provide an opportunity for those private schools and facilities to participate in the development and revision of state standards that apply to 300.147. Finally, under 34 CFR 300.325, if the public school facility initiates and conducts an IEP team meeting for a child placed in the private school by the school district, the public agency must ensure that the parents and an agency representative are involved in any decision about the child in IEP and agree to any proposed changes in the IEP. That's a private school, what they have to do regarding the IEP. It doesn't say they write the IEP. No, that's not what it says. Even if a private school or facility implements a child's IEP, here it comes, responsibility for compliance of Part B remains with the public school and the SEA. That doesn't mean, based on the concerns of stakeholders, including LEA personnel, and a review of public available information regarding state 766 schools, including, that's the private schools, including applicable monitoring information, OSEP is requesting that DESI submit the following. This is the stuff they had to give DESI. They had to give OSEP about private schools. They had to give them policy and procedures regarding the placement of students in 766 schools. Policies and procedures regarding the monitoring. They don't do that. You know what their idea of monitoring is? I kid you not. Barbara, you know this. They go to a team meeting once a year. Or, like in the case of Evergreen, every 6 months. They have a 6-month meeting, and then they have the IEP meeting. Yeah, that's the only time they go. Okay. Including any monitoring protocols. Samples of any memorandum of understanding or agreements between the LEAs and the schools, and examples of monitoring reports, state complaint decisions, due process hearings. Oh, that's going to be fun to get my hands on that. Because every time, you know what happens? They dismiss the private school from a hearing. The hearing officers always say that they're not responsible. Evergreen, Barbara, was Evergreen in your hearing? I can't remember. I thought it was just Pembroke. I know they testified. Okay. So, and this came from Valerie, and they got 60 days to do that. Yep. DESI has to submit the following with information within 60 days of this letter. So that's the last part of it. So all of that stuff had to go over to DESI. So if anybody wants this, let me know. I will send it over to you. But that's what OSEP did. Okay. So, OSEP is just getting all of this information right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a public records request at DESI, and I'm going to send them this. I'm going to say I want all of that. Everything that the state had to give. Oh, Seth, I want a copy of it. I want to hear it. Not one fucking word. Whoops, sorry. Not one word. I don't want to hear nothing. I want all of that stuff. And when I get it, I'm going to give it to you guys. Okay? I'm going to put it where you guys can go get it. All of it. All right? Guys got any questions? This was a lot. Okay? And there's, let me see if I can find, my computer is acting up. And what I wanted to do is show you guys this other thing. Let me see. I can find it. Okay, so we'll put this down. Oh, God. I hate my life. Okay, let me do this. What did I want? I'm trying to open up this other document that I had. So let me see if I can find that sucker. And it went to downloads. Where's my downloads? Okay, let me go over here. So before we got that letter, the state, I had filed a complaint against the state. And the state, there it is. Okay. And the state was in the process of doing the investigation. And this investigation was against the state because the state didn't do their job. So all of those things you guys just saw, I'm going to show you something. Okay, what I did. How I went after the state after. So I'm going backwards. Okay. So this is the corrective action order issued by Barry Barnett, the director of program of problem resolution systems at the Department of Education regarding the state complaint that I filed against them. Let me tell you guys something else. When you go to file a state complaint in Massachusetts, you know what it doesn't have? And I just sent them an email because we're in a comment process. I'm going to show you something else later. It doesn't have an option. This is so cool, you guys. I can't wait to show you this. They don't have an option to file against the state because they're doinkers. And they do it on purpose because they don't want parents to know that you can file against the state under IDEA regulations, okay? Under the Dispute Resolution Memorandum, page 22 of that memorandum, section B12, it literally says, can I file against the state, the SEA, for a state complaint? And it says yes. And then it tells the state, and guess what? When the person files that, you have to do it in the same way that you do when you do an investigation for the district, which they're not doing very well. So that would mean that they're not doing this very well either. Okay, let me just see something. Okay, this is it. Wait till you guys see this. This is so fucking cool. Just stop swearing. Oh, there's no kids around. It's too late. The kids should be in bed. Okay, so picture in picture. This doesn't want to work. I don't understand. Oh, I know what I gotta do. Stupid. That's why it's not working. Share a screen. Share a screen. And a window. And put out. And okay. Watch this, guys. Okay. So this is the complaint that this is the corrective action. Okay, let me show you how it works. So I filed a complaint, which is PRS 8566. That was against the school district. I got it and I said, this is bullcrap. So then I filed a state complaint against the state. And that's PRS 9550. This one right here. Yeah, this right here. That one right there. Okay. So this came out November 21st. These people are so dumb. Okay, so it says the Department of Elementary. Okay, let me show you the names on this. Okay, Kristen Valcourt, Deputy General Counsel. Okay, Department of Elementary. Okay, this is two. It's two. Okay, let me show you who it's from. Director Okay. For the record, just so you know, this is the second one. The first one that she wrote, I chewed her a new one, and then I sent it to OSAP. And I said, what is their problem? So after I did it the first time, okay, see it right here, what it says? Department DESI Problem Resolution submits the following in response to your September 22nd, 23 letter of findings in PRS 9550. The letter of findings was allegedly the corrective action that she didn't do. And what she did is she gave the state, I'll show you that the next time. I told you I'm going backwards. She gave the state extra time to provide her with documentation, and I lost it. Okay. So, required corrective action. This is what it says. PRS and the SEA must evaluate why all allegations, this is what I told him in my complaint, while all allegations in PRS 8566, see how it jumps back, were not addressed accurately and completely, and why an accurate and complete letter of finding was not issued within 60 days of the filing of the complaint PRS 8566. PRS and the SEA must develop a plan to ensure timely and complete processing of complaints. PRS and the SEA must submit a plan with timelines by 5 p.m. on Wednesday, November 22nd. I got the plan. Oh, just stupid. Okay. Here, that was corrective action number 2. Response. So this is them saying what they did. I don't care. They're stupid. Okay. So they're listing the whole timeline of what they did and how they did their job. And okay. The letter of findings, honorable complaint, filed a request for a hearing. Okay, then I filed a request for a hearing. Based on the guidance it received, PRS decided to review its previously, listen to what I said. Okay. Based on guidance it received. You know who the guidance was? OSAP. PRS decided to review its previously issued determination and made updates to it as needed. Wait, the next time I come on, I'm going to have this one and the one Doofus sent me before that I chewed her a new one, and I'll send you a call. I'm going to put up the email that I sent to this crazy girl. Okay, I asked her what law school she went to, because clearly facts, law, and evidence never entered her classrooms at all, and none of her courses, because this chick didn't know nothing. So anyway, on July 25th, PRS issued the amended letter of finding, which considered and applied department guidance on Title I professional hiring requirements, which they still haven't addressed. We still don't know what the state is using to monitor and to track these paraprofessionals in Massachusetts. We still don't know how they're doing it. He said he did, like in that other document I showed you, but like OSAP, I don't know what the hell that means. And I just sent him an email on how I don't know what the hell that means. Then send me her credentials, because he still has it. Anyway, unlike the originally issued letter of findings, issuance of its corrected determination was issued beyond the 60-day timeline. See, they tried to correct it because I told them where's the rest of it. They didn't include that part in the letter of finding in the first corrective action order. They didn't do it. Okay, so this is what Barry Barnett came up with. Or this is what Barry Barnett came up with for PRS to Kristen. He said, to avoid such an issue in the future, PRS has developed a plan to facilitate timely and complete processing of complaints, which includes the following. You're not going to believe that. On or about late October 2023, DESI authorized the addition, this is where it is, guys, of 4 additional full-time PRS liaison positions. The liaisons will increase PRS's capacity to timely and completely resolve state complaints. Remember, about that whole math ain't math thing, the decrease and the increase, and they ain't coming together and the numbers ain't working. Yeah, that's what OSEP told them. 9550, this right here, this thing I'm reading to you guys, this is mine. This is about my case. Yeah. So they're answering what OSEP told them to do and what I complained about in my complaint about them, about Desi. On or about late October 23, Desi authorized the addition of one additional full-time supervisor position. Supervisor, that's what it was. It was 4 investigators, 1 supervisor, and then an assistant director. This additional supervisor will increase their capacity to conduct quality reviews of issues and determinations. As of November 6, PRS also has an assistant director whose duties include developing and improving various systems within PRS, including strengthening the existing quality control processes and efficiencies in the handling of complaints. Isn't that pretty? That's a lot of pretty words, huh? Yeah. You think I believe they're doing this? I don't. I don't believe they're doing it. I believe they said so. And see, their worst fear is they put this crap in writing. See, that's what I'm laughing about. They put this in writing and they sent it to me. Stupid. Okay. December 1st, PRS will issue written guidance. No, I'm sorry. Yeah. December 1st, written guidance to PRS supervisors and staff, reminding them of PRS obligations pursuant to 152. When I show you the complaint I filed against these wombats, those are the regulations I cited. 300.152 that they didn't do, among other regulations they didn't do, including that PRS written decisions must address each allegation in the complaint that I specifically said she didn't do. This is the lawyer that said, well, I'll just do it my way. She won't know. She's just some dumb advocate. I gave her dumb. Okay. I asked her what college she went to. And they're calling her for her degree back because she's stupid. Anyway. This month, in January 2024, PRS will undergo, I put this in all of my complaints as a remedy. PRS will undergo staff training regarding Every Student Succeeds Act, Title I paraprofessional hiring requirements, and the department's relevant guidance as it relates to PRS investigators. Guess what? I still don't have any of that. We gave them all of the information. This same wombat that wrote this, the director, he put in writing somewhere else that he reviewed 5,000 documents. Yeah, I just looked at the documents and he said he reviewed 5,000. My complaint was only 87 pages. The school district sent him 246. So I don't know where he got 5,000 pages. So I went and looked at all of this crap that he allegedly reviewed, and it's an exhibit in his thing. Do you know how many times he duplicated evidence? I mean, huge documents like the dispute resolution memorandum in 2013. I put that in there. He put it in there 5 times, at least 5 times. The kid's IEP, that's in there a bunch of times. I even got some, I can't even say this one. I'll save that one for next week after I report them. I'll fix that. Yeah. Okay. So that's a lie right there. We'll undergo training. That's good. And by the spring, now this goes all the way into spring, we'll undergo an additional comprehensive staff training, which will include training related to identifying issues within PRS complaint intake and timeline requirements pursuant to the idea. Now, that's a whole bunch of words in there, right? I'm not stupid. I have to watch them. I know they're not doing this. But I'm going to make them prove to me that they are, because I'm going to CC everything to OSEP. Everything's going to OSEP. And that's how I make them do their job. And when I tell OSEP all the time, you know what? We don't have to do this whole conversation thing. I can get my car and drive to DC. I'm only an hour and a half away. It just won't take me that long to drive to DC. I know how to get there. My mother loves going to DC. Dog. We'll just go for a ride. Go shopping. Go to Georgetown. Just saying. It's not a big deal for me to go to DC and go have a meeting with Miguel and Valerie. Yeah. I don't care nothing about it. Because the next time somebody hears from me is going to be Joe Biden. To find out what the hell's going on with all this money this state is getting for special education. And they are constantly under scrutiny. Constantly. They're just no good. So my job is to torture them, and I like it a lot. You have no idea how much I like it. I like it a lot. It's fun for me. You just don't know. And so even though they put all of that in there, until it actually happens, I don't believe it. Now, one of the things they had to do, they had to rewrite, and it's in draft form right now. And next week, I'm going to do it again. Okay, we're going to do this again because this is my new thing. I'm going to do this every week. Hopefully, my computer will be fixed. But next week, I'm going to show you the draft that they wrote up, and I already have a problem with. Because once again, they're playing around with us. So I went in, I sent him, he says, well, it's the public counting. Good. Here's my public comment. Bite me. You got this. Fix it. And it was from this woman right here. Kristen Valcourt. ESQ. Yeah. Because they're dumb. So anyway, guys, I'm going to go now because I'm tired, girl. And we're going to continue this. Now, if you guys have any questions, please tell me, and I'll be here next week. My goal is every Thursday I'm doing this, okay? I'm going to get back on track. This is what I've always loved to do. And you can catch me on TikTok, too. It's my handle is TMJ.theadvocate. So I'm trying to put more stuff on there. Some of the stuff is about this. Some of it is just random stuff that goes on, and it's just, they're crazy. Anytime there's something cray-cray going on, I'm putting it on TikTok. This is where I'm going to be to tell you guys everything you need to know. I want you guys to know. Why does it say all? What is this? Special ed answers. I don't know what that is. Oh, okay. So anyway, I'm going to try to build this up. So this is probably going to go onto my YouTube channel. So if you want to do it and you want to check it out, please, by all means, under the live tab. And sometimes I'm going to pull stuff out and I'm going to put it on TikTok, or I'm going to just do it all by itself so you guys can see it. All right. So if anybody wants these documents, let me know. They're a matter of public record. Anybody can have them. Okay. And as I get my stuff, I'm going to give it to you guys. Okay. So if you want it, let me know. I'm going to show you how to use it. In the end, after I teach you guys how to do after I show you all of this stuff that we did, okay, I'm going to show you how to do it. And I'm telling you, it's not nearly as hard as you think it is. I'm telling you, it's just not. And I'm going to create a video on how to do it. I'm going to create a video. I'm going to try to update as many of my videos as I can, especially the ones on state complaint and due process. You listen. The purpose of a state complaint is to be cost effective for parents rather than doing a hearing. Listen, hearings aren't all what they're cracked up to be. They're just not. They take too damn long, okay, in federal court. And there's always a workaround when it comes to the state, okay? There's always a workaround. And there's ways that you can show the state and the feds. I got to teach you some tricks. I got to teach you some tricks that I use because I don't play fair. I'm telling you guys right now, I don't play fair at all. Fair is gone. There's no fair. Because fair, I wouldn't be an advocate for kids with special needs. Fair would mean that we wouldn't have any of this crap that we're doing right now. If we lived in that world, we wouldn't need any of this. Fair would mean your kid would get what your kid needed in school, period, without hesitation. What? Your kid's having that many problems. Well, let's do the testing. Why can't they just say that? I don't understand what the hell's wrong with them. You got to be some kind of mean not to say at a team meeting, you know what? I think we should just test them and find out what's going on. I mean, you're getting the money anyway. It's bank. It's already in the bank for this kid. Test the kid or give the money back. If you guys don't want the problem, if the school districts and the state don't want the problems, give the money back. Don't apply for it. It's voluntary. They don't have to apply for Title I, and that's my next crusade, is making sure there's a way to track all of these paraprofessionals That's what started all of this nonsense. There's no way of tracking these paraprofessionals, none. And there is a way, but the state is deliberately not doing it because they think they're off the hook if they do. I got a kid that has a paraprofessional in all areas of academic functioning, behaviorally, socially, and academically. And they're telling the parent that they get to decide if the paraprofessional comes to the team meeting. You know what I say? Now that's a perfect example of going to hearing. I'll go to hearing for that. And I will put that paraprofessional as a witness on a witness stand. I'm going to get her testimony one way or the other. Go ahead, test me. I'm good. Because we'll have a hearing just on that, and I'll tell the hearing officer. The reason why we're doing this is because the district won't let me talk to her. Now what? So go to hearing then. I don't give a shit. I'm not afraid of your little twitty lawyers. I'm just not afraid of them. Your lawyers suck. They're no good. I don't know how they go to sleep at night. I just don't know how they go to sleep at night. And right after Christmas, I am so disgusted in some people, especially in this field. There were times that's why I had to stop. That's why I had to stop, because I can't sleep at night. I literally cannot sleep at night. So, but I'm going to do everything that I can without doing it individually. And you got to pay attention. You got to, if you want to make it work, and it's going to take time. You're not going to learn this overnight, but you guys got something that I never had. You got me. And my strategies and techniques, they work. I just proved it. It's not surefire and it's not a guarantee, but you know what? Life's not a guarantee. I did more with this than anybody's done. I know I did. Nobody's ever done this before where the state got in this much damn trouble. They did one time. Oh, it was with the hearing officers. The hearing officers were working for the state. They were employees of the state. The first thing under hearing officers for due process says you cannot be an employee of the Department of Education. And Massachusetts violated it for 30 years. Most of the hearing officers that are still up at the BSEA, those are the same people that were hearing cases for 30 years. 1992 to 2008. They were employees of the state. Major violation. And you know what happened? They were made to move. The only thing that happened is that they changed their addresses. Now they're on 75 Pleasant Street in Malden rather than Main Street? 75 Main Street. That's the only thing they did is change their address. And I told OSEP that. You think you did something? They still have alliances to the Department of Education. Who are you kidding? They're not going to go against the people that are paying their paycheck, giving them a paycheck. Are you kidding me with that right now? Meetings meetings are illegal to have never. What? I don't know what that means, Barbara. Evergreen participated in meeting. They participated in meetings, but they also wrote the IEP. And they weren't responsible for the implementation of the IEP. I mean, your kid learned, he was babysat. This kid was babysat at the school that cost over $200,000 a year. He was there for 4 years. And you know what? They didn't even teach him. They didn't teach him anything. He came out worse than when he went in. And now he's doing things in the group home that had DDS attended these meetings and opened their mouth. That's a whole nother topic. State agencies. State agencies sign what's called an interagency agreement. And that means they agree to implement IDEA because they get money too. So we'll talk about that next after we get done with this, because this is enough for years. I can piggyback on all of this. So I want to tell you guys, thank you for allowing me to do this again. And I am so happy you guys came, and I got more to come. I'm telling you, this is bad. It's all bad. It's bad, and it's good for us. It's bad for them, good for us. But now we have something to work with. We have something to work with, and they actually put it in writing. And every time I turn around, I'm going to pull up this document. I'm waiting 30 days, and then I'm going to go put in a public records request at the Department of Education. And now what are they going to do? What are they going to do? Tell me no? Go ahead, I dare you. I'll cite you for violating public records request law. which means it's a criminal act. If they don't give it to me, I can file a criminal charge against them. Yeah, I did that in Massachusetts before too. Anyway, I will talk to you guys next Thursday, as long as my computer, I don't have technical difficulties, because right now I'm looking at myself and my lips are moving after the fact. I don't like it. So anyway, I'll see you guys next week. You have a good time. Have a good week. Hey, you guys in Massachusetts, we're getting that snow here too, and we don't get snow. There's no plows here. There's nothing. I'm hoping we don't get hit that bad. I have a shovel. And thank God my mother lives in a place where they come in and do her walkway, but they're saying we're going to get hit hard. We haven't had good snowfall in a long time, and it's El Nino. He's coming after us. All right, guys. So everybody stay safe, keep warm. Barbara, go get some stuff to make sure you guys have enough heat and stuff in Massachusetts. The wires like to go out because everything's on top of the ground instead of under the ground. Here, everything's under the ground. So we keep warm even during a storm. So go get the stuff you guys need. Just be prepared. It doesn't matter if it doesn't happen, but at least you're prepared, because it's going to happen one time. All right, guys. Bye. Thanks for coming. I miss you guys. This is fun. Bye, guys.